Hello. Thank you all for coming out tonight. If you came out for some comedy, you're in the right place. If you came out for anything else, fuck you, it's happening anyways. You can't get out now. I'll call you out on stage. Thanks for coming out tonight though, guys, seriously, we appreciate it. Just some housekeeping, tip your bartenders. I had a little shout out. I heard we have folks coming from Alvarado tonight. Somewhere back there? Yes, thank you. Give those folks a round of applause. They're now the new standard for our fan base. We all, until you all drive 3 hours to come to one of our shows, you're dead to us. That's the bar to beat. And that kid over there is pretty young, and this is adult content, so he might have both the longest trip home physically and emotionally. I'd follow you. All right, yes. All right, cool. So it's October, almost Halloween, 3 weeks to Halloween. Where are my spooky bitches at? Yes. You all like to go to Del Charo on Friday nights and sit by the fire and read Agatha Christie by yourself too? No. Just me? Aw, I thought I wasn't alone for a second there. All right. I don't really know what to do with myself on Halloween here in Santa Fe yet. I'm from Rochester, New York. Russ Galpert, yes. Yeah. So in Western New York for Halloween, we go trespass in half-burned down abandoned buildings in the middle of cornfields and get chased out by literal demons. Out here in Santa Fe, I just sip a steamed chai and comment on the aspen leaves. So it's a little different. But I have this theory in Western New York where, so Western New York, I don't know if you know much about us, but we once had 8 feet of snow in one night. It's about negative 30 degrees there in the winter. It's colder than Alaska statistically. So I have this theory that we're so into Halloween because it's the last socially acceptable chance for us to get out all of the deranged feelings we have before winter hits. So I once went to a haunted house in Rochester. I went through all the rooms and they had the zombies and the witches and all of that, and then they took us out the back door and went to the basement with us, and they duct taped our hands behind our back and put black bags on our heads. And I was like, is this still the Boy Scout fundraiser or is this something else? I mean, I knew they were sociopaths, but come on, this feels a little extreme. Yeah, but can we just, in all seriousness, can we have a moment of silence for last year's Halloween? Yeah. I mean, also for the 600,000 plus people that passed, but for last year's Halloween too. It was a sad Halloween. I sat at home on my couch and ate chocolate by myself, which is trick or treating without any of the exercise or socializing. But yeah, COVID was a rough time, y'all. We got through some rough times together. One good thing did come out of it for me personally. I got to reconnect with my cousin. My cousin, before I moved out to Santa Fe, got sentenced to 10 years in Attica. And I got to reconnect with him during COVID, which the only problem with that really is, has anyone out there ever tried to complain about quarantine to someone in prison? I'm like, man, you don't know what it's like out here. I can't work my job right now. I can only go outside at certain times when people tell me I can. I'm really paranoid about people getting too close to me, and everyone around me is super sexually frustrated all the damn time. What's it like in there? Yeah. And I feel like the pandemic was so depressing that the government gave us aliens as a sign of hope, right? Before the pandemic, the government was like, we can't tell the people about aliens, there's gonna be mass hysteria, it's gonna be pandemonium, it's gonna be chaos, people are gonna be freaking the fuck out. And then after COVID, people were like, give them some hope. Yeah, the aliens are real, they could come to Earth, who knows? If we hope hard enough, we wish hard enough, maybe they'll take us over, teach us how to not self-destruct so fast. Maybe they'll show us some cheaper rent alternatives. The pandemic's been hard on my family too. Anybody else have conspiracy folks in their family? Oh yeah. Yeah. My twin sister won't get vaccinated because she doesn't think it's safe. She does, however, still inject heroin every day. But there's known effects of that, so it's in a different category. So anybody in a relationship right now? Yes. Everyone else who didn't give a whoop-woo is secretly resenting you all. Yeah, so I just went home recently. I couldn't go home through all of the pandemic, and I just went home recently for a wedding. My cousin was going to try to get married at the beginning of COVID, and then COVID hit, and he kept pushing it back, and finally got married on a really small scale. And my partner lives in New York City and came up on an 8-hour-long bus to Rochester to break up with me at my parents' house the morning of a wedding. Thank you for laughing. Yeah, you guys, has anybody ever been broken up with the morning you're going to a wedding? It's like getting expelled from high school and going to your cousin's Yale graduation. Or getting evicted and then going to a housewarming party, or getting hit by a bus and then going to a wedding. Yeah. So I went to the wedding, and then you have to go and you have to be like, oh, I'm so happy for you. Love is real. And I was sitting there in the crowd, in the audience, and they had, she was gorgeous, decked out in her beautiful dress. He was okay in his suit. She was gorgeous in her dress. And they had like that, that fancy flower trestle, the arc that people stand in front of. I don't know why, but it's beautiful. And then in the background of that, this beautiful moment, this like eternal saying of the vows, bringing two souls together for the rest of their lives. And then in the back of that was a hawk and a squirrel dueling to the death in a tree. And it was the most realistic ceremony of love I've ever seen. I felt so much better after that. Love is real, you all. So my family, I'm from Western New York. I'm from the Rust Belt. I come from Irish factory workers. My grandparents worked in a button-making factory. My dad worked in the Kodak factories for over 30 years. And so my cousin, when he got married, he married into a rich family, and the bride's family pays for the wedding, right? Have any of y'all ever gone to a wedding above your social class? It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. I kid you not, like my family has no shame. My dad was smuggling filet mignon out in napkins to the car and still had time to get back in time to do the turtle on the ground at Shout. And I saw a relative of mine, I'm not kidding you, I saw a relative of mine take out a disposable camera from a cardboard package. This bitch shoved a lobster inside of it. Yeah, the hustle is real, y'all. And then I came back to Santa Fe after that, and I got evicted. So, love is real, human compassion is real, empathy is real. We have a lot of comedians for you all today. We got about 6 comedians, a mixture of folks from Santa Fe and from Albuquerque, some locals and some our way locals. Y'all are gonna love them. Albuquerque, people in Santa Fe love to make fun of folks from Albuquerque. People in Albuquerque love to make fun of folks in Santa Fe. We're both arranged in different ways. I'll give you an example. I drove down to Albuquerque the other day, and there is a completely naked man on the side of the highway, and that was noon on a Thursday in Albuquerque. And I was thinking about that, and I drove back to Santa Fe, and I went for a run in the park, and when I came back and sat in my car to drink some water, there is this guy, this hippie, 30-year-old hippie in a Jeep next to me, long scraggly hair, altar on the dashboard. He made direct eye contact with me, and then he picked up a metal flute and played like a 5-second ditty, and then started his car and drove away. And I was like, oh my God, that's a Santa Fe breathalyzer. All right, let's bring out our first comedian for you all. Give him a round of applause. This is a local, right from your own. He is voted Santa Fe's best DJ. Yes! He's not doing any music for you. They didn't say anything about his comedy, so you all be the judge for yourself. But this is Felix Cordova. Please give him a round of applause.
All right. Let's make some fucking noise! That's what we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna have a little fun. Yeah, we're gonna snap it into some fun. Yeah, I'm gonna come down here to Tumbleroot and I'm gonna do some comedy for you. Yeah. Sorry, that's just what I did to get pumped up. All right. Let's give it up. I broke out my best crocs for you guys. One time I showed my friend 20 minutes of my stand-up.
And the only thing she could tell me is, you shouldn't wear basketball shorts. It's not professional. I'm like, bitch, this is my dream job. If I can't be comfortable at my dream job, where the hell can I be comfortable, right? I'm your boy Reflex. There's just a little small programming change. Felix Cordova is not here. I am your boy Reflex, okay? Hey, Felix Cordova is a very hermit-like, introverted person. Felix Cordova cannot be up here. He would have a panic attack. So, for all intents and purposes, I am your boy Reflex. When I'm out on stage, I'm your boy Reflex. When I'm out socializing, I'm your boy Reflex. When I'm at home, alone, masturbating, that's Felix Cordova. So needless to say, you don't want him here. He's kind of a downer. I should know I have to live with him. So now that I got that little tidbit out of the way, let me tell you a little bit about myself. As she said, I'm a DJ, actor, rapper, award-winning filmmaker, plus-size model, and last but not least, a cashier at the ski basin, because none of that other shit makes money. You know? My uncle once said, yo, Reflex, is there anything you can't do? I said, yeah, model regular-sized clothes. I tried, I failed. How many of you guys gained weight during quarantine? Let's hear it. Let's hear it for the weight gainers. All right, I'm glad you guys didn't lie. I gained a lot of weight. Not like, I'm a little thinner now, but I blew up. I was like teetering at 400 pounds. I was a big dude. All I did was watch Tiger King and eat Burger King. And I did not feel royal at all. Unless Alabama started some sort of monarchy that I'm not aware of. In that case, I would feel like them. Yeah, so I've been big my whole life. And I've grown accustomed to people making fun of me, and like, it really doesn't hurt my feelings anymore. But recently, my feelings were really hurt. Almost to the point where I started crying. And it was about my weight. I know. It happened a couple weeks ago. And I'll get to that story. But I was trying to think of the last time I felt that bad. And I know the exact date. July 13th, 2016. It was the day after my sister's 30th birthday. So I had a great time. I partied, I got smashed, I went to sleep, and I woke up and I wasn't hungover. I was like, what the fuck, I feel great. I feel great. I'm gonna go to Home Depot, I'm gonna I'm getting stuff done at the house. What should I do? I'm gonna cut these weeds. I go get the weed whacker. It doesn't have the little twirly shit, that green shit that just keeps running out after every 2 weeds you whack. That stuff. I went to Home Depot and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go do this. I put on my headphones because like I said, that's Felix Cordova. He goes alone, he wears headphones, he doesn't talk to people. I'm going around Home Depot and I'm spacing out, I'm just like looking at shit because no one knows where anything is at Home Depot except for the employees. And those motherfuckers are harder than hell to find. So I'm just like, oh, cool, screws. And I'm just like, maybe I'm still drunk because I'm just staring at shit. And I stare at this shelf and I just space out. Just kind of looking at it. And then somebody tugs at my shirt. And I look, nothing, nothing. I'm looking at the shelf and then I get another tug. So I'm like, oh shit. There's like a 5-year-old right here, right? And I'm like looking for his parents. I'm looking for somebody else. There's nobody there. It's just like this 5-6-year-old. And he's like trying to get my attention. So I take out my headphone and he looks at me and he says, you're fat and ugly and nobody likes you. Yeah, right? I look at him and I'm like, you little motherfucker. But I can't say that because he's a kid, right? So I'm just looking at him and I'm like tears coming down my eyes and I'm like, thank you. And he just like runs away. He like runs down the hall and then I'm like, Felix, don't let that motherfucker get away with it. You tell him something. So I'm like, hey, kid. And then he turns around and I'm like, since you're so observant and you fucking know everything, Why don't you point me to the rope and stool so I can fucking hang myself? He looks at me with this stone cold, just wide-eyed look, and his face starts shaking. And I'm like, oh shit, was that too dark? Did I get too dark with a 6-year-old? Is he gonna cry? Am I gonna have to explain to somebody why I made a 6-year-old cry? What the fuck is going on? He's shaking. And then he just sticks out his arm. And I'm like, what the fuck is this kid doing? He smacks a fucking garden gnome off the shelf, it shatters all over, and he just runs off laughing. I'm like, did I just meet fucking Satan? What the hell is going on here? I called it. I'm like, this is too much. Fuck this kid. I'm just going home and I'm sleeping for the rest of the day. That was the second to last time I felt bad. This last time, like I said, I was 400 pounds. And during Christmas, I went to San Antonio. I couldn't put the seatbelt around my waist. And I know, because all you guys are so skinny and sexy and beautiful, you can't relate. But when you can't put the seatbelt around your waist in an airplane, that's like a kick in the dick, you know? It's like, you're like, oh shit, I'm holding everybody up. I better either fly without a seatbelt or raise my hand and do the walk of shame thing. So I asked her for a seat extender and she brings it. And that's not what made me feel bad, because I'm like, Felix, COVID just happened. I was in quarantine, I didn't do shit. I'm like, I'm gonna go easy on myself. So I use that as motivation, right? I'm like, when I get home from Christmas vacation, I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna fucking, lose some weight. And I did. I lost 40 pounds, everybody. Yeah. I had a big summer, so I worked really hard, and I'm like, I'm gonna reward myself. I'm going to Hawaii. So, I'm going to Hawaii. And before I get to that story, just a quick side note. When I was at the airport, I told this guy I was going to Hawaii. He goes, $7 for milk? Fuck that. I said, I'm going to fucking Hawaii on vacation. I'm not starting a family in Hawaii. Who the fuck cares about milk prices in Hawaii? What am I, Amish? Oh, that milk's too much English. I can't go there. I have my own cows at home. Not a big Amish community in New Mexico, I know. I'm like, who fucking drinks milk on vacation? I just thought that was the stupidest thing. So I fuck that guy, right? I get on the plane and I go to put on the seatbelt, and then I get distracted because I look down the aisle, and it's usually families and it's couples on honeymoons going to Hawaii. So no one's gonna sit next to me unless it's 2 people, right? It's either a couple or a kid and a parent or something. And I look down, there's the most beautiful woman. She's wearing a mask, but you could tell, you can tell by their eyes and their hair and just how they present themselves, how sexy they are. And I was like, oh man, this woman is gorgeous. And there's only 2 seats, and I'm window, she's in the aisle, and she's coming this way. And she's by herself, she's gonna sit next to me, that's cool, I'll have the whole middle seat, and then I can talk to her, whatever. So I forget to button my seatbelt. She gets there, sits down, and then I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And she's really nice, and talks to me, and tells me how she's going to Hawaii to visit her parents, blah, blah, blah. Awesome, right? I'm like, great. So I go to button my seatbelt, and click, it fucking went in. The seatbelt went in. I know, big, big accomplishment for me. But, so it went in, and I was super happy. I look at her, and she's like, oh, what's the matter? I'm like, dude, in January, I couldn't fucking buckle this thing, and now, look, I can pull some slack. I was so happy. And she's like, oh, that's so nice, that's so good. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta take some meds. And so I fly down the flight attendant, to bring me some water, right? I'm like, hey, can I get some water for my, I just need some water. She just looks at me kind of yeah, bounces. And I'm having a great time with this girl. And then the flight attendant comes back, hands me a fucking seat extender. Yeah. My heart just drops. I'm like, what? No, I didn't, I said water. I didn't say seat extender. What the fuck? Look, it's in. And then she's like, I'm sorry. Your son said you needed this. And I'm like, son, I don't have any fucking kids. I came on this thing by myself, right? I looked to the front of the plane, and there's that little son of a bitch from Home Depot flipping me off. Except now he's a fucking tween and more of an evil bastard. That's true. Somebody has a Satan child in Santa Fe. Thank you. When I got to Hawaii, I thought, like, hey, I'm just gonna eat all this fresh fish and all this good fruit and juice and be healthy. And then you get to Hawaii and you tell them, what do all the locals eat? They're like, well, there's this thing called the loco moco. And I'm like, first off, gross, because here loco moco just means crazy boogers, right? So I'm like, gross. And I'm like, what is it? And she's like, well, it's a bed of rice with a hamburger patty on it, fried eggs, and it's just swimming in gravy. Like so much gravy that the fucking hamburger patty lifts off the rice. And I'm like, shit, my seatbelt went on. Give me 3 of those fuckers. So I didn't do too good. Even their sushi isn't even fish. It's spam wrapped in seaweed. I'm like, who are these fucking people? Why don't they bring their cuisine over here? And yeah, I was gonna end with the kid thing, but I didn't work it out as good. Next time, I'm your boy Reflex, everybody. Thank you. Come on out, man.
Those are the most polite saloon doors I've ever busted through. All right, give it up one more time for Felix Cordova. Yes. I think every small child goes through a phase where they're potentially possessed by the underworld. Am I right? Yeah. My mom's a preschool teacher. One time she was like talking to this little kid who was being like kind of unhelpful that day, and she was like, "You were so helpful yesterday. Where's that girl? Where's that sweet girl that was like helping all our friends and supporting her?" And the kid turns around and goes, "I ate her." True story. All right, your next comedian is going to bring you some songs from the heartstrings and hopefully pull on yours a little bit too. This is Evan Galpert, y'all.
Keep it going for your host, Meg Specksgoor. Cool, yeah, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of my own prep here for a second, but I've been kind of bummed out lately. Is anybody else here clinically depressed? Clinical depression, anybody? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's a mental illness, which doesn't sound cool unless you say it like a British rapper. Like, oi, that's mental illness, right? Straight mental illness. Oi, yeah, that's cool. But you know, I get stuck in modes where I just like can't, it's like I can't change the station in my head. I call it being stuck on K-Fuck radio. K-Fuck radio, let's KFUC, okay? Deal with it, because it's the only choice that you've got. Now it's K-Fuck Extreme. It's K-Fuck Extreme, bringing you the top 10 ruminating thoughts to beat your head against the wall with. Thank you for tuning into K-Fuck Public. Reminding you that the public is really the most annoying thing. Bienvenido a Radio K-Fuck, Radio KFUC, que bueno. Radio 0.0, tú es un puto, tú es nada. K-Fuck Radio. Again, my name is Evan Galpert. My dad used to always say it's gal like a girl, pert like the shampoo. And I was like, well, there's just no way to make that cool, you know? Like, not even if you're James Bond. Like, yes, that's right, Evan Galpert, gal like a girl, pert like the shampoo. It just isn't really, you know, like, or even if you're Sean Connery, yes, that's right, Evan Galpert, gal like a girl, pert like the titch on her, you know, like. Speaking of sexual predators, you know, what I realize is that musicians are kind of the worst people. Not only because they get to steal other people's material, like they get to play other people's songs and nobody ever thinks twice about it, but apparently all of them are pedophiles. So we have R. Kelly now, and you also have, what I learned was, this was just a bit that came into my head. I was thinking like, what would make Robert R. Kelly songs a lot more fun? Sing them as Robert Bob Dylan. So I, wanted to sing a little, I wouldn't normally do this, but let's go ahead and break them up a little preview of the remix. Well, I try to be rude, but baby girl, I'm feeling you. I actually do have a real song. Part of my angst comes from the fact that I live in two worlds. I'm half Texan and half Jewish, and Texan is its own nationality. Let's not get that wrong. It's clearly a thing. But I call it being a schmuckaroo. So I wrote a song. I hope you all enjoy it. You say Jewish cowboy, I say schmuckaroo. One half of me is Texan, the other is Jew. I like simple things like my truck and a beer. Now if I could just find a good bagel and schmear. And I'm always game for some good barbecue. Pastrami is brisket and corned beef is too. But if you call that a pickle, I got news for you. Well, sure it's no Zabars, but I guess it'll do. Yippee-ki-yo-ay-vey, my sinuses today, strumming and complaining the schmuckaroo way. Well, I'm part mention Hebrew and part good old boy. Well, that's lost in translation, they call it a goy. I keep my life simple, don't need all the toys, or I'll wind up broke and become unemployed. I don't mind working and earning my pay. And if you ask, are you comfortable? I'll say, I do okay. But in my parents' eyes, I won't live down the day that I didn't go back to get my MBA. Yippee-ki-yo-ay-vey, my 401k, strumming and complaining the schmuckaroo way. Well, I'll say something half of my family would hate. Fuck, I keep fucking it up. I'll say something half of my family would hate. Christmas is okay, but Hanukkah's great. I'll explain it a way y'all can appreciate. Why would you want one night when you can have 8? Well, if I were my grandpa, I know what I'd say. 40 years through the desert, now we're in Santa Fe. I should be in Boca or in Tampa Bay. But until I retire, I'll sing and I'll play. Yippee-ki-yo-ay-vey, my mother called today, strumming and complaining the schmuckaroo way. Yippee-ki-yo-ay-vey, I'm out of stuff to say, strumming and complaining the schmuckaroo way. I got one more song for you. Again, being that other people can get away with it, this is actually a cover song. And this is, on a serious note, in case anybody else in here knew him, I just learned recently that a friend of mine passed away, took his own life earlier this year. I just found out, so apparently he wasn't that good of a friend. But here's one for you, Entheos. He fucking loved this song, so this one's going out to Entheos Bellis, ladies and gentlemen. Hey there, vagina, how the hell did you get so sweaty? You're 1,000 miles away, but damn, my cock is just so ready for your poon. I have have to spank it without you. And when I do, I'm gonna fuck this up a lot. I get my Vaseline and socks out of the hamper. This is gonna be a big one, so I better grab another pair or two. Log on to YouPorn and I choose to search for you. Always bathing in her pee. Oh, how I wish that it were me. Oh, R. Kelly would agree. Oh, your filth will set me free, drowning me in glee. Hey there, vagina, now I need you more than ever. I just watched 2 girls, 1 cup, and I am so afraid I'll never be satisfied. My smegma love is still stuck inside. Lord knows I tried. I'm thinking maybe I just need to take it up a notch. These fat chick tranny midget strippers digging down on goat crotch make me blue. So bad. It's just not enough to make me goo. What could you do? Oh, stick that strap on in my ass. Oh, start slow and then go fast. Oh, the bleeding soon will pass. Oh, watch out for broken glass. That's a one-man, one-jar reference. I know the web is a scary place, but you could cream pie on my face if I could double-click and have you here. Until that day, I'll have to charge subscriptions to my credit cards for websites like Sorority Chicks and Beer. Or Captain Stabner, Come Fiesta, or Das Etchen, Mein Scheiser Fest, or Euro Sex Club Party. I just came, then you're to blame. Hey there, vagina. Hey there, vagina. I'm afraid I've a confession. I'm in love with you and how you leave me covered in your mess. It tastes so good. My foreskin, your clitoral hood. I'm not a perv, I'm just misunderstood. This sexy talk's giving me wood. Another round sounds good. Oh, I need to get a job. Way too much time to wax my knob. Real women say that I'm a slob, but they're just receptacles for my gobs of cum. Hey, sorry, that's my set. I'm Evan Galpert. Thank you so much. Okay, give it up for your host, Meg Specksgoor, whenever she comes back. Follow us on waywardcomedy.com. I'm Evan Galpert. Thank you.
I'm going to be having some very mature conversations on the way back to Alvarado. Right. Give it up one more time for the plain white teeth turned plain white wife beaters. All right. Your next comedian is going to bring it back to the jokes and then loop it back around with another musical song for you all that has nothing to do with vaginas. I don't know if you're happy or disappointed. You can pretend to be either. I can't see your faces from here. All right, this is Nick Pelton, y'all.
All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Meg. How's everybody doing tonight? Excellent, excellent. That's good, especially good in October, the spookiest month of the year. Dangerous month, everybody. I'm going to be talking about some disturbing, scary stuff, so I want everyone to be prepared. And I'm starting with boomer dads. One of the scariest things there are. I mean, after all, you can't spell boomer without boo, and you can't spell dad without ah! But boomer dads, they lock on to the weirdest, dumbest shit, and I can't figure it out. Like they think Elon Musk is cool, for instance. I don't get it, yeah. All boomer dads love the phrase, alrighty then, from Ace Ventura, right? And in very inappropriate circumstances, you know what I mean? The doctor's like, sir, your prostate is enlarging at an alarming rate. He's like, oh, alrighty then. But the scariest and most suspicious of these boomer dad trends is that they all seem to love The Shining, the movie The Shining. And that has some kind of like dangerous implications if you think about it, you know what I mean? Like there's a hidden message in The Shining that dads seem to appeal to. You know the plot, right? Some foolish guy goes to a hotel, he's locked up there all winter with just his wife and his kid. So obviously, he goes crazy and he tries to chop him up with an axe, right? That's what you do. But the problem with it is that he goes, first of all, they cast Jack Nicholson. So he starts the movie, he's about 99.9% crazy right off the bat, if you know what I mean. He's driving his car and he's like, oh my God. The kid's in the back seat like, hey, are we in Colorado yet? He's like, you better fucking hope we are, buddy. So these guys are doomed. He tries to kill them almost immediately. And you know that because it tells you the days of the week as you're watching it. It's like, Monday. Wow, it's real nice to be here with my family. Tuesday. I'm gonna fucking lose it here. Wednesday. By Wednesday, he just picks up the axe and he's like, oh, Danny boy, Danny. And so my dad really wanted me to watch this with him when I was 12. He's like, Nick, come here, we're gonna watch this movie. It's got a secret message for you, okay? And so I'm sitting there watching this with him. I'm on the floor, he's sitting on the couch next to his axe. And the whole time he's watching the movie, he keeps glancing at his axe and then he keeps glancing at me. And I'm like, Dad, why do you like this movie so much? And then he's always cheering and yelling at inappropriate times. He's like, yeah, get him, Jack, get him, yeah, teach him a lesson. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think the little boy's the bad guy. I don't know if we're watching the same movie here. So the point is my dad loves The Shining. And the older I get, the more I understand it. Because I can picture like a classic Pelton family dinner. And so I can't sit still. So I'm just making noise the entire time. I'm bopping things around. My brother's putting ketchup on everything. My mom's asking inane questions about our day. How'd your day go at school? Do you like your teachers? Are you guys having a good time at school? My dad's like, God damn it! I'm gonna go watch The Shining again. I'm just gonna go watch The Shining again. And my mom's like, honey, you watched The Shining already this morning. And he's like, yeah, but maybe it's gonna end differently this time. And that's what your dad really wants for Father's Day. He wants to watch The Shining with the different ending. You know what I mean? And then we've got deep fake technology. I don't think it's that hard. You know, we just slap one together. By Wednesday, Jack's already chopped up his family. By Thursday, he's working on his genius screenplay. He has the greatest 4 months of his life, all alone. He finally gets the chance to be productive. And you know, when they arrest him, the judge looks at him and goes, look, pal, I get it. 6 months. And when he's released later, he's a hero. And that's what I think dads all over the country really want to see. And I kind of want to show it to him because I'm still a little nervous, you know what I mean? I feel like if I can't provide him the ending he wants from The Shining, he's still going to be looking at me. It's a dangerous time. October is a spooky, spooky time. We got any serial killers out in the audience tonight? Yeah, a couple. Nice. I don't blame you guys. You got to do something to fill up your time. And serial killers are such colorful characters. Everybody loves a serial killer. They get cool names: Night Stalker, BTK Killer, Dick Chomper, whatever. John Wayne Gacy dressed up as a clown. That's creative. That's fun, you know? There's that handsome one. Oh shit, what's that? Who's the handsome one? The guys like the ladies. Jeffrey Dahmer. That's the handsome one, as far as I can tell. Jeffrey Dahmer, I think, is the all-star of all serial killers, the weirdest and the sickest, and he's frankly a Midwestern celebrity. One of the biggest Midwestern celebrities there is, right up there with heart disease. That's right, Paul Bunyan. Give it a hand. Give Jeffrey Dahmer a hand there. For those of you guys who don't know who he is, he's a Midwestern boy. He'd kind of either hit guys on the head or try to give them a lobotomy with a chopsticks or something like that, and then he'd put him in the freezer. And so that way, when he woke up in the middle of the night, he's like, I'm hungry. Just walk over to the freezer, grab a foot, slather some mayonnaise on it, put it in between 2 pieces of white bread, and you've got yourself a mayonnaise sandwich. And every time I think about that, I just get nostalgic for the Midwest. That's where I grew up. I grew up on mayonnaise sandwiches. And we ate ours with bologna, so that's probably what, 2% max human flesh? So, not really quite the same thing, but we're kind of in the same boat there. But anyway, back to the horror. Even from a young age, Jeffrey Dahmer showed all 3 warning signs of being from the Midwest. The first, and one of the most dangerous, is sexual repression. The Midwest is the land of sexual repression. Like, they've got oil in Texas, we have sexual repression in the Midwest. It fuels our entire life. So dads are out there, like, measuring each blade of grass on their lawn, you know what I mean? Mom's in the kitchen, she's on her 8th casserole. This is not a satisfied family. And then there's me. Number 2, warning sign, he's a big dork. There's no other way to put it. And the third warning sign of being from the Midwest, one of the most insidious, is kind of best represented by the way he would try to give someone a lobotomy with chopsticks, or just that dumb half-assed mullet that he was always sporting. And what a lobotomy and a mullet have in common, besides the fact they're applied to the cranium due to mental deficiency, is that they're half-assed things. And so if you go ahead and half-ass something that's already half-assed, we're looking at a quarter-ass here, people. And that, quarter-assing it, is what the Midwest is all about. That's what we do up there. Thank you, folks. That's a good quarter-ass applause right there. You guys are catching on. It's like a Midwesterner will tell you, well, sir, I'll paint half your barn. But then you get there and he's painted a goat and maybe a chicken, and that's it. You know, that's how we do it. Hell, even the location is a dead giveaway. It's called the Midwest, right? You think maybe they made it partially to the West. But if you look at an American map here, you've got the East Coast here, West Coast here, Midwest is about here. You know what I mean? They didn't even make it an 1/8 of the way to the West Coast. They're like, all right, boys, we're going to California. And then 2 days later, they're like, oh, screw it. Let's just have some mayonnaise sandwiches and stay here, We'll just sit back, we'll tell them we made it halfway. That's what we'll do. But that's the Midwest for you. The single thing, the single entity in life that I think sums up the Midwest better than almost anything else is mom jeans. Picture it with me, mom jeans. First of all, they're very dorky. That's an easy one. Second of all, they're sexually repressive because they just lift right up at the crotch area, cutting off any hope of circulation down to the genitals until it's cold and shivery and numb. And the last part of the mom jeans, of course, is the quarter ass. Because if you look at the way it proportions the ass, and it only showcases the lower quarter of the ass, the dumpy part of the ass. The rest of it is systematically flattened back. So you're only getting a quarter ass out of those mom jeans. And the funny thing about mom jeans, they seem to be everywhere right now, which suggests to me that maybe the Midwest is spreading. Maybe we're all becoming Midwestern. That might be the scariest thing of them all. So, folks, real quick, before we move on, I am going to play one short little song here. Yes, and this song is a Wayward comedy tradition for, I think, 5 years now. The whole point is there's spooky skeletons at all times, and we sing this good luck song to make sure they don't get us. Here we go. No, that's not gonna work. 1 second. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Skeletons and bones are always grinning, even stuck all alone in a box 6 feet underground. You might say that I'm crazy, but I know exactly what it is. Thank you very much, everybody. Out of here. Thank you for Tumbleroot for having us. Thank you, Meg Specksgoor, for hosting. Thank you basically everything except this mic stand. All right, and sooner or later, I believe that someone's going to be here to relieve me. And we'll move on with the rest of the comedy. Give yourself a hand, everybody. Thank you so much.
Big Pelton, everybody! Skeleton Pelton, bringing down the house and the microphone, literally. Yes, anybody else, like Nick, ever figure out that your dad likes a movie or a show and you don't realize till later the implications of that? I was about 7 when I found out that my grandfather's favorite show was Xena Warrior Princess, and it took me 7 more years to understand why. Yes. All right, we got a comment coming up from Albuquerque for you all. Please give it up for Sam Alvarado.
Thank you. What is up, Santa Fe? That was really mild. What is up, Santa Fe? Yeah. That's better. Love white people screaming. Hooray. It's fun. I'm from Albuquerque. Super fun down there. So you can rest assured your cars are safe. I'm inside. It's rough in Albuquerque. It is. It's rough in Albuquerque. It's, yeah. Yeah, you'd think that's easy. I wouldn't live in Albuquerque if I had the money to move away. It is, it's rough in Albuquerque. I like to complain a lot about things in Albuquerque. As a matter of fact, the other day I was complaining in an elevator to some random lady, because I like to complain a lot. And I was like, it's kind of hot here, it sucks. She's like, oh yeah? Well, Tucson is worse than Albuquerque. I was like, that's a bold statement. She's like, well, it's hotter. I was like, well, yeah, but this is still Albuquerque, so I'm still taking your purse. It's rougher in Tucson. I'll show you. No, it's fun. It's fun to meet people that travel out of town. I worked at this really weird call center for a little while, and and we get people that travel in, you know. So this guy was from New York, you know, big old black dude, wears cool hats, got the jacket, chains, swag. He says cool terms like it's lit, bro. It's fire. And he's asking me, hey man, what's there to do around here? And I want to be cool, you know. I want to say, I was like, there's a balloon fiesta. He's like, what's that like? He's like, it's balloons, it's lit, it's fire. All right. Is there anything else that's cool around here? I was like, you come up to Santa Fe. They have Zozobra. And he's like, what's that about? I was like, it's a big dude, it's lit, it's fire. He's like, all right, what else is there to do? Like, what about food? I was like, you have to try the green chili. That's what same thing. He was like, let me guess. It's lit, it's fire. I was just like, well, later. I'm gonna catch up to you. You've learned to love it. It's interesting, you come out, in Albuquerque we don't get like a lot of people that have talent. So we come up and we just kind of like bullshit for a while. So it's nice, you know, these guys, it's talent, you know. Like, I'm hoping I look good enough. But like, I enjoyed that there was music, you know, and I wasn't planning on doing any music, but let's keep that rolling. Why not, right? It's like, yeah. Music brings people together. You know, if you have a really good song, people enjoy. I like big butts and I can't lie. You other boys can't deny. When a girl walks in with the itty-bitty waist and around and in your face you get, no, it's consent. This is 2021, guys. You can't do that anymore. It's consent. Always get consent before you get sprung. I just say that because like I'm trying to be a better person generally. You know, I'm from Albuquerque. There's a lot to work with. So like I start with like let me just not make like cliche excuses that suck for things. You know. And I thought about this the other day because my cousin comes over. It's literally 9 in the morning. She has 2 bottles and she's like, "Let's get drunk." That was my response. Like, it's 9 a.m. She's like, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, I was like, that's stupid. It's really dumb. But fuck it, let's get drunk. You can show me your boobs. And she was like, what? I was like, it's a nude beach somewhere. She didn't laugh. She was like, I'm your cousin. I was like, it's Alabama somewhere. I am. I'm just trying to be a better person. See, they're dumb excuses. You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm trying, just not, in general, just to be a better person. And I thought about it. I was like, oh, I'll cancel all my OnlyFans. Yeah, some of you might not know what that is. You just pay for nudes. I figured I'd cancel it, right? But then I thought about it, like, what if that's not supportive? So that's work. Sex work is work. I know people that do OnlyFans, you know? And if I don't support the people I know and love that have an OnlyFans, can I call myself a good grandson? Grandma's on fixed income, yo. She's gotta make that money. There's only grams. I like this. The name of that joke. Coincidentally, trying to be a better person actually involved starting to send dick pics. Yeah. Guys here, who sends dick pics? Woo! Liars, except for that guy. All the girls complain about every man but the ones in here, apparently. If you do take a nude picture, take a real full body pic like a real man, you know? So what's up? I have a gender neutral body, not a dad body. Basically, it means I can take it off and who knows what you're gonna get. But I did, I started sending dick pics, but it's not to like girls that I like. It's like, my sister is being a bitch today. Have a bad day. It's messed up. In general, just trying to be a better person because I realized I complain a lot. Like in the summer, I'm the guy that's like, oh, it's so hot outside, guys. It's so hot. And they're like, shut up, dude. We know. We are also here. You're making it worse by continuously reminding us. But I do it so often, like not even in the summer. It's fall now, and I'm like, it's so moderate out today, guys. I literally do it all the time. I was having sex with my girlfriend. I was like, it's so dry out today. Is it me? Ouch. Yeah, you got it. I'm sorry. That's not her. She's not here. Is anybody still doing dating sites? Do people still do that? Yeah. They're not even dating. It's like fucking sites now, right? Like I don't. Like you're on it. I jumped on Hinge and they're like, the app to be deleted. And it like wanted extra login credentials and a phone number. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And it wouldn't work. So I deleted it. It's perfect. It's like, this works. I did. I was on a dating site and to my horror, found out that my mom, she was on the same dating site as me. Yeah, I matched with my mom. Yeah, it's terrifying. It's just like suggested things in common. You both hate your dad. Yeah, she's here. She's in the back. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. It's not. No, I did start dating a girl recently. And okay. All right. So stick with me. I'm having trouble explaining the STD. She'll get it. Too dark. All right, I'll lighten it up. I like talking about sex. That's unfair, you know, because like it is. It's something that like we all do, but it's still kind of like a weird thing to talk about, you know. And I do like talking about it. It's fun. We all, you know, do it. But then it gets weird sometimes. Let me explain. I did a set one time, mostly about sex. And afterwards, this guy, one of my friends, he comes up and he's like, dude, I love your sex jokes. He's like, cool, thanks. And he's like, I love sex. That's weird. He's like, no, I love smelling like sex. And I was like, that's really weird. I'll tell you what, man. I smelled like sex every day for a year. There's one thing I learned. I'm never going back to prison. Ooh, dark. guys don't like the dark stuff, huh? What's that? Keep going and get darker? Okay. No problem. All right. If you're gonna try to bring food into the bedroom, since we're on it, bring hummus. Yeah. I mean, it does get boring. How many times can you lick hummus off a nipple before it gets boring? Why hummus, you ask? Because my girlfriend's white. How do you eat a cracker? Somebody said with cheese. I was like, no. I know, I'm trying to be a better person because I got fired from a job recently. Right? I've never been fired before. It was really weird. I got called into the office. Keep in mind it's a call center. My boss, he says, tell me exactly what you're doing because you're terrible at this. I was like, oh shit, I'm just going by the customer is always right. And he's like, dude, they're not customers. This is a suicide hotline. but then, you know, getting fired, I do what I love now. You know, and they say if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I love panhandling so much. No, the real reason I got fired. Did you know you can get fired from work for watching How It's Made? If you watch the Babies episode. Some of you got it. Some of you got it. I don't know. I'm trying to be a better person. In general, like, I don't really do hip stuff. Like the cool guy says lit fire, all that fun stuff. I'm not hip. I like older stuff. Like, older stuff is fun. It's cooler, you know? Like, they used to name things and have a different name for things based on how many there were. It's badass. If it's one goose, it's a goose. More than one geese. A group of them, that's a fucking gaggle. That's awesome. I love the word gaggle. But we don't do it with anything new, which I think we should. You know, one Prius is a Prius. More than one Prius, it's Prii. But if you have a group of them, it's a cuckold of Priuses. It's kind of fun. One Karen, that's a Karen. We all know what a Karen is. Two Karens, that's just HR. A group of Karens, that's a protest. No, they are, because look how inventive they are with signs. We're complaining to someone, who knows? I don't know. I'm older, I am. I feel like I'm getting older, like the cold is starting to affect me. Yeah, like my joints, just terrible when it's, I can't not roll a joint when it's cold. That speaks to my old schoolness, like who fucking rolls joints anymore? All right, there's something that I'm pretty tired of. Yeah, let's hear it. A heckler finally. For you. All right, so gender inequality is a thing. We all know this, right? Do you know how much longer, in today's day and age, 2021, how much longer and how much harder it is for women to come? Whew, so hard. I'm sorry you agreed. She was like, yes. I get it, you know, I get it. Like, it's not the easiest. Like, I would have a hard time if I had to deal with, you know, men. First of all. 40% of the time, if I was worried, like, maybe I'll get murdered today, I probably might have a little bit harder of a time coming, you know, it's a fact. Just might, I don't know. Am I gonna get murdered or will I come? Who knows? She's like, oh my God, it's so true. I have an idea. Tell me if you guys like it or not. Might help out a little bit, right? So gun control for men only. And then every woman just gets a gun. You just get it. Yeah. Any law that applies to a woman and her gun is the same as it applies to a man and his weed, you know? And then men can start having the same complaints that women have. Like, dude, she pulled it out and put it in my face in an alley. And we'll be like, why were you in an alley by yourself, bro? What were you wearing? Did you have a bulletproof vest on? Maybe you were asking to get shot. It's not like a woman's gonna go into a movie theater and unload a whole clip, you know? If she unloads a whole clip, it's gonna be on one dude, and he'll deserve it. And let's say something does happen, and a woman goes to jail, and And like I said, all the laws apply to just a man and his women. So she'll get out in 2 weeks. And that's what I wanted the whole time, for women to get off easier. Hey. I realized after writing that joke, like, that makes me look bad. Oh. Okay. I'm already a dad, you know, like that's, I felt like I had to get to the dad bod just to fit in, you know, like hang out. Anybody got kids here? Did you leave them in the car? It's cold enough. What do you No, don't get me wrong. I like kids. Kids are cool. And I love my kids. Right? I have 2 kids. They're awesome. I love my kids so much, I make sure each one has their own mom. I'm from Albuquerque. Everybody asks, like, oh, do you have a favorite kid? Do you have a favorite kid? And they're like, oh, you're not supposed to say yes. Fuck yeah, I have a favorite kid. Neither of my kids. It's my nephew. That little fucker goes home. But even my nephew will piss me off. He will. He upsets me. He doesn't mean to. My sister's more successful. And he's little, so he doesn't know. But he accidentally rubs it in my face. He's like, hey, uncle, check out my new race car bed. Isn't it cool? My mom bought it for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I sleep in a real car like an adult. My kids will even piss me off, you know? Like they do, they don't mean to, but they're angering, so angering. Like, you just ever have a bad day? Just a bad day. And I'm only talking to you guys because I can't see anybody. It's a horrible bad day, you know? And then the kids make it worse somehow. I locked my keys in my car. My stupid baby couldn't even unlock the doors. And it was so hot that day, guys. So hot. You think that's bad? Imagine how embarrassed I was going back into Planned Parenthood to ask for a hanger. Saving a life. Nope. I work with this really old white guy. He's 80. He's got a real thick Southern London accent. Oh, Sam, how you doing? And he likes to tell me stories. And I really have faith in this guy. But sometimes he's like, Black Lives Matter isn't a real thing. And I'm like, I don't know. This guy, you know? And then he sees my face. And he's like, I won't keep talking. That's the best you can get from an 80-year-old white dude. I'm happy with it, you know? But the other day, he's telling me this story. And he's like, I used to have a friend look just like you. And, yeah, I know. Oof, I'm worried. It's surprising, don't worry. He says he gets drunk, real drunk one day. He has his 14-year-old drive him home, his kid, right? I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going. Am I concerned? No, I don't know. He says, so he gets arrested. And I was like, that makes sense. There's a 14-year-old driving. He said, no, it's not because the 14-year-old was driving. It's because on the way home, he pulled a gun out and started firing in the air. And I was like, what's it? Like, where is this going? It's getting crazy. And then he just ends it with, I asked the dude, why did you do that? And he's like, I was celebrating. He's like, what were you celebrating? He's like, I don't know, I was just celebrating. And then he's just the most wholesome thing he could have said at the end. And sometimes you just gotta celebrate. So have a good night, guys. Celebrate. Give it up for your host one more time.
Sam Alvarado, everybody! Give it up for Sam. Give it up for women coming. Yes. All right. Sam is right about dating apps. Y'all had a hard time on dating apps? I tried Tinder for like 3 days. I think it's the least aptly named thing we have in modern society. Tinder, if you've ever made a fire, it's this thing that you use to like really gently and lovingly build up something from a small little ember ash, and you blow into it this breath of life, and then you're creating it until it goes bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden it gives you warmth and life. I feel like the dating app should be called something more like microwaved aluminum, right? Yes. All right, y'all, we got one more comment for you tonight. You all have been so good so far. Please please keep tipping your bartenders, keep being good to each other. We have one last comic. His name is Tyler Lovely.
Guys, keep it going for all the old people that you have seen before me tonight. Yes, and shout out to Tumbleroot for picking them all up from the senior center, whatever the hell. That's so dope of them to do. God, I'm happy for them. They're all up here. It's because this is what it is that either they made a really bad decision in doing this shit too late, or I'm getting like a head start on it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those two. Santa Fe, how we doing tonight? Yeah, you doing good? I know, and I'm so glad to fucking be here right about now. It takes about 30 whole seconds for the front row to start looking at me like, oh shit, I didn't know you could buy Pete Davidson at Target. But you can do that. You can indeed do that. I'm very glad to be here though. I'm glad to be out of my city for a minute. I'm from Albuquerque. I'm very glad to be out of there. I'm pretty sure I gotta get the fuck out of my city. I might need to leave my state. I might need to move. It's not that I don't like New Mexico. I love it here. This is like my home. I love New Mexico. It's just that I'm like 95% certain that my girlfriend is fucking Ron Bell. So there's that, and I don't think I can keep like driving down I-25 on my way to work and seeing that fucking mustache. I'm thinking about calling the Learner and Row guys and getting some gang shit involved. Thinking about doing it when life is bad, but I just figured it out. I'm super happy to be in Santa Fe right now because I figured it out on the way up here. Why they call this state the land of enchantment. Like I finally figured it out because it's northern New Mexico, right? I've only ever been to southern New Mexico, and I'm like 100% certain that nobody's ever been kicking the trailer door open on their park in Belen and just been like, hey fool, you know what's kind of enchanting? All the not shit out here, you know what I mean? Like the nothing at all. Like nobody's ever been getting stabbed in the neck in Socorro, and they're just like, abracadabra, Holmes, you know what I mean? Like, abracadabra, fool, fucking nobody ever done that, but I just went to Belen for the first time. Anybody here from Belen? Anybody whatsoever? Okay, get the fuck out. Go back down there. We don't need that shit here. I know that we don't need that shit because I went back to Belen and I wanted to see if you guys were up to the same shit that y'all been on, so I picked up a newspaper and I wanted to read like the headline, and on the headline it just said, Belen High School seniors steal a Bud Light truck and take it down to the river as a senior prank. And I was like, senior prank? That's a felony. That's what that shit is. That's not a prank. I remember pranks. They were like, hey, how many balloons can I fit in a locker? Never did it occur to me to go up to San Alvarado and be like, hey man, you wanna go steal a Kia Sorento full of meth? What do you think? Just take it down to the Bosque. It's on Sandia High School. You know, like never did that shit ever occur to me. I don't know, but I'm 24. Is there anybody young in this audience right? Yes. We have a couple people. Hey, we got a couple cuties in the front. Shit. I'm looking for my Ariana Grande later. You know what I mean? Fucking Pete Davidson joke again. That's what that was on you guys. Yep, it's two of those now. There's a couple differences between me and Pete Davidson I would really like to point out about Pete Davidson. One of those differences, Pete Davidson is a dad, right? Pete Davidson doesn't have a dad, right? He does not have a dad. And I do have a dad. And we all know people that don't have dads. It's like they just have a lot of tattoos and shit, you know? Like just tattoos. And it's like a blessing to have a dad. I'm very aware of that because one thing I've learned in my like experiences is that people that don't have dads always have better drugs. Always have better drugs, but people that do have dads have better Christmases. So it's kind of like a trade-off. Like you kind of gotta pick your poison with that one right there. But I'm just a super lost little Pete Davidson out here. Like I'm just always doing dumb shit. I was talking to a coworker the other day, and he was telling me, he was like, well, first he was talking about Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was telling me, he was like, Albuquerque, more like Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was like, hey, we do heroin too, okay? Like there's a lot going on in my city. It's not just those two things. There's three of them at least, you know, three whole things. And when I was talking to him, he was also telling me, he was like, you'll never meet a black guy named Dick. That's true. Am I wrong about that? Has anybody ever met a black guy named Dick? I was telling him though, but there's gotta be a couple of them. So we started arguing, right? He was like, you'll never meet a black Dick. And I was like, there's definitely a black Dick. So what did I do? I went home and I Googled it. I looked up black Dick. So there's a lot of black Dick. whole lot of black dick out there. But I'm 24 and I was happy to learn that little bit of information, you know? Because like, at 24, it's like a lot like being 12, you know? Like, I don't know, nobody listens to me and I'm always drunk as fuck, you know? Like, I feel like I can get drunk very quickly. Was that your 12 too, or am I the only one from Albuquerque? Is that just me right? There's another guy in the back, I can't really see. I think that's Evan Galpert. Shout out to Evan over there, yeah. He came out here singing some wild shit a little while ago. Fucking brought out that Billy Gay Cyrus on us, I think. I'm just as not proud as I am proud of that joke somehow. I don't know. It's like a good mix there. But it's like weird. Like, is anybody else kind of losing their mind a little bit? It's been pandemic, right? You guys are you're kind of losing your mind a little bit right there, right? You right there you look like all of Cobra Kai in one person right there. I think that's cool. Good for you. Shout out to your homie over there. You look like you invented Facebook and Twitter, so that's cool. It's like we got a lot of productivity in the front row right there. Meanwhile, we got glasses over there, which are cool because that means you can probably read. So shout out to her. I'm the only one. All right, okay, I'm the only one from Albuquerque. Sam Alvarado. Real quick, shout out to Sam Alvarado. Right, that guy came over here, did his thing. That's my roommate because all Albuquerque comedians live in a porta potty together. I'm pretty sure that's my roommate right there, which is cool for me because it means that I can answer yes to the question, have you ever lived with someone who looks like they sell shotguns out of their truck? So I can answer yes to that question right there. But yeah, shit's going good at 24. You might think it wouldn't be, given that I kind of look like someone who knows a good skate park to sleep at later. It's because I do. I really don't know what I was thinking when I picked out this outfit today. Like, I look like I'm gonna blow the Plan B skate team later. Like, you know, like I do not know what the holes. Who put the holes in my jeans? It wasn't me. I buy my stuff from Savers, and clearly whoever I'm buying my shit from Savers gets a lot more pussy than me, or action rather. Not a lot of that going on, because I'm 24. I just got all kinds of weird shit like up here at all times. Like I'm losing my mind. It was August recently. it was August at some point, and that man is dressed like it is gonna be August for the rest of the year, and I think that's awesome. That's awesome. It was August recently, and I had a song in my head, and you're kind of losing your mind. Have you guys ever had a Christmas carol in your head in the summer? Has that ever happened to anybody in this room? Yeah, you right in the front row. I had one recently, and I had a song, it's called 12 Days of Christmas. It was in my head all summer. I could not get this shit out, and that's why we're gonna go through it, because while I was playing this shit over, I realized that this is the most insane piece of Christmas carolry that has ever gone down, and I want some audience participation while we identify how stupid this shit is, alright? So you guys all know this song, right? It's 12 Days of Christmas, right? So we're just gonna start from the top. On the first day of Christmas, what does my true love give to me? Right there in the front. Partridge in a pear tree, that's right. What is that? That's a bird in a tree. You guys are looking at me like you get birds for gifts often. Is that a Santa Fe thing? I don't understand who's getting a bird for a gift in this room. We're gonna go to the second day of Christmas and assume there's more natural gifts, right? Second day of Christmas, my true love gives to me 3 total birds. That's what we're at. Yeah, 2 turtle doves is 3 birds right now. So you're at 3 and no one's really looking at me like you don't not get birds all the time. So we'll go to the third day of Christmas. Third day of Christmas, my true love gives to me is 3 French hens, 6 total birds. This is crazy, right? Is this not a little bit crazy? I want you to imagine if this was a holiday and if you just opened a stocking and just a bunch of birds flew out of it, like a scene from Mary Poppins, and pretend that's a normal Santa Fe Saturday, I assume. Fourth day of Christmas, though, my true love gives to me 4 calling birds, which is 10 total fucking birds, is what I'm saying. A whole lot of birds, like a crazy amount of birds. Have you ever had 10 of those? I want you to imagine one right next to me right now. Now imagine fucking 10. There's a whole lot more than one. We're gonna go to the 5th day of Christmas. What does my true love give to me? 5 golden rings, right? That would be dope. If I didn't have to pawn them all for bird feed. I have 10 birds, I wanna remind you. We're at 10 total birds, and we're going to the 6th day of Christmas, where there's more days of gifts. So the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gives to me 6 geese a-laying. Yeah, I'm telling you, we're at 16 birds right now. I'm doing the math for you. A lot of birds, 16 of them, and they're laying. What are they laying? More birds, 16 plus. We'll just put a plus there. Just a little plus, 16 plus birds, the 7th day of Christmas. What does my true love give to me? 7 swans a-swimming. I'm not making this up. This is actually the song that you all sing to your children right now. We're at like 26 plus birds, 5 golden rings. Those are long gone. I have a title loan out right now.
I had a studio apartment at one point, but now I got 25 birds, so gotta upgrade there, go to the 8th day of Christmas. What does my true love give to me? Maybe some chocolate or lube? It's like normal shit, my 8th day of Christmas. 8 maids a milking. Those are 8 women with breast pumps to whoever just screamed woo. I don't know where you get a woman, but she's on a breast pump. I don't know what she's feeding, but it's probably a bird, right? Like we're at 25 of those still, I'd like to point out, plus 8 women. So whoever had this shopping list, go to the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gives to me. 9 ladies dancing, that's 17 women now. We're at 17 human beings, 26 plus birds, which is crazy how this person even got 17 women because like I have 1 woman right now and she has at least 4 dudes. So I'm pretty sure I don't have 1 woman right now. But he's got 17 of them to spare and just throwing a studio apart. 10th day of Christmas, my true love gives to me is 10 lords a leaping. That's 10 dudes that need Ritalin. That's what that is. I don't know where you get 1 dose of Ritalin, I clearly need it, but I don't know where you get 10 of those. All of a sudden we're gonna go to the 11th day of Christmas and assume finally chocolates and lube, right? The 11th day of Christmas, my true love gives to me 11 pipers piping. That's 11 flute players. I want you not to be calm right now. This is not okay that you're gifting flute players. What do you do with 1 flute player? What do you do with 1? Like, I don't think you do anything, but now there's 11 of those dudes in my house, and we're gonna go to the 12th day of Christmas and hopefully get a restraining order. But on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gives to me 12 drummers drumming. I got a drum set one time when I was 11 years old for Christmas, and I swear to God, the next weekend my parents got a divorce. So multiply that times 12. I don't know how you gift all of this to a human being. What kind of Satanist symphonic bird brothel bullshit you just dropped on a human? That's just really not okay though. But that's what's going on in my head. I want you guys to give it up for all the comments you guys have seen tonight. I've been Tyler Lovely. You guys have a safe one. Tip your bartenders.
Tonight just to remind you how good of a time you had, alright? So come on up, Felix Cordova, Nick Pelton, Evan Galpert, Sam Alvarado, Tyler Lovely, I'm Meg Specksgoor. Thanks so much to Trip Stanley for putting this together. Thanks to Tumbleroot for hosting us. Thanks to your bartenders. Thanks to you all. Thanks to my Alvarado folks. Yes. Alright. If you want to see more comedy, we are part of Wayward Wednesday, about half of us. We do open mic comedy at Chili Line every Wednesday night, Chili Line Brewery in Guadalupe. We also have some folks up here repping Six Sun in Albuquerque. Check out sixsun.com. We got Funny Fiesta coming up in Albuquerque this coming weekend, so go check out Funny Fiesta. I have a queer Halloween comedy radio play coming out on Halloween this year on SantaFe.com. If you've ever watched the movie What We Do in the Shadows and wondered where all the queer vampires are, I got you, booze. So go check that out. All right, thank you so much for coming out tonight. You guys have been great.
It's time for the gangster picture. Let's take the gangster picture, guys. Come on. Hey, the West Side. Yo, somebody take that. Tasha, hey. Wayward Wednesdays, Chili Line. Thank y'all for coming out. Have a great night, yo. God damn this fucking mic stand. Love you.